we've been hearing a lot of reports about Kamala Harris being involved in some sort of a automobile accident that ultimately paralyzed a young girl. The story of the day is Kamala Harris allegedly hitting a 13-year-old girl with her car and then fleeing the scene, essentially a hit and run. The girl underwent multiple surgeries and was left paralyzed. Kamala Harris's handlers apparently threatened the mother to not tell anyone what happened. But what we're being told is that this is not a true story. I'm going to let you guys be the judge of this. Is this a hoax? Because there are reports coming out now that this may be a hoax. As you can see here, Kamala Harris's running mate is also a closet drunk. There are many rumors that have been coming out that Kamala Harris has got a serious drinking problem, showing up to her rallies, meetings, drunk, under the influence, or possibly even high. Although Kamala Harris has sent numerous individuals to jail, prison time, for having marijuana, weed, and other minor controlled substances on them.
It happened on the evening of June 7th, 2011, when Alicia and her mother were heading home. A car driving the wrong way down a one-way street headed towards the women crossing the road and hit one of them. The event was forever imprinted in Alicia's memory. After 13 years, she finally decided to share the shocking details about the accident and its culprit.
Well, it happened on the corner of Post Street and Jones Street. Me and my mom were walking home from a movie theater after watching Pirates of the Caribbean. It was getting late and we hurried home because my mom had to wake up early for her work. As I remember, we were crossing the road and out of nowhere a car came out from behind the parkland. We were not expecting this because there is only one-way traffic on Post Street. So we were not expecting anyone to drive from that direction. The car was rushing in the opposite lane and my mom reacted quickly and jumped back. She tugged my arm, but she was too late to save me. And the driver also hit the brake, but it was also too late. I was just hit in the side and thrown into the road. I fell on the curb and it hit my back.
This is obviously a horrendous story about this young girl having been paralyzed. And her mom, unfortunately, had to witness this entire thing, but she has to live with this for the rest of her life. Now, this is being reported here, as you guys can see here, that this has been reported as a fake story. There's a lot of conflict. Let's just say there's a lot of conflict about the validity of this story, about this young lady being paralyzed by Kamala Harris's hit and run. Now, I'm just sharing the information with you guys. I can't validate if this is a legitimate situation. We don't have any reports from Kamala Harris on this one yet. So I think that I think it's something that needs to be further investigated. So is this a hoax? Is this a fake story? Or is this a legitimate situation and ultimately a cover-up by Biden, by Kamala Harris, by Tim Walz, by the Harris Walz campaign? That is a big mystery at this point. So I'm going to let you guys be the judge. Please leave me a comment down below. Is this a hoax? Or leave me a comment down below if you think that this is real, or if you think that this is a fake, or do you think that this is a cover-up? Command Sergeant Major Tim Walz has done it again, guys. He has again abandoned his own as vans carrying press and staffers were involved in a violent car crash. Now, I want you guys to realize that politics has a lot of optics embedded into it. And scenes like this is not a good look for any political campaign.
About slamming the brakes on that.
To make matters even worse, Kamala Harris's running mate didn't even stop to check on the people there. They simply drove away because apparently it wasn't their problem.
Before a campaign event involving Democratic vice presidential candidate Tim Walz in Milwaukee, two vehicles in the governor's motorcade collided. One of those vehicles was carrying staff members and members of the press pool. Some people in that van were taken to a nearby hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Governor Walz was not involved in that wreck.
That's right, guys. The governor was right in front of the accident, so they weren't affected by it at all. Even though, as you heard, staffers of both Harris and Walz were involved here. Now, I also want to ask about the injuries that these people had suffered. It's correct to say that they were not life-threatening injuries. However, it doesn't mean that they weren't bad. One staff member who was treated by paramedics broke their arm. Multiple reporters had scrapes and bruises, with one male reporter getting a bloody nose and a female reporter who's feared to have suffered a concussion. That last one was supposedly taken to urgent care because those things can kind of spiral out of control real quickly. At this point, we're not being told what caused the accident. Some suggest that these drivers may have been inexperienced or, even worse, DEI hires. And guys, before we get started, I just want to thank y'all so much for smashing the like button. Thank you for subscribing to the channel and sharing this video. Let's get started. So here's what the governor had to say about this entire situation.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you, Rich. Good afternoon, Wisconsin. Good afternoon, neighbors. First off, let me say, some of you might have heard, some of my staff and members of the press that were traveling with us were involved in a traffic accident on the way here today. We've spoken with the staff. I'm relieved to say that with a few minor injuries, everybody's going to be okay. So, thank you. President Biden and Vice President Harris called to check in, and we certainly appreciate their concern. And I want to express my sincere thanks to the U.S. Secret Service and all the local first responders for their quick reaction to help. So on behalf of the Vice President, myself, and our entire campaign, we're grateful for your work today and every day. Thank you. Happy Labor Day, folks. I have to tell you, I can't think of a better way to spend it than at Labor Fest.
Wait, did I hear him right? He got a call from the president and vice president so that they can check on him and the staff? That sounds good and all, but what would he know given that his car drove away from the crash? And we're supposed to believe that he's the next vice president of this country, that he cares about working Americans, and that they'll do what's best for the middle class? Because that's the message that's being brought to Milwaukee.
The goals in Project 2025 are clear. It should be subtitled, How to Screw the Working People.
At Laborfest in Milwaukee, a fiery Governor Tim Walz said it is the Harris-Walz ticket that will best represent union workers' interests, including their health care.
We, Vice President Harris, myself, and everyone here believes that you should be free to make your own health care decisions, not politicians.
Earlier at Twin Cities International, the governor and first lady met with local labor leaders. Both Walzes are former teachers and members of Minnesota Education, something that union's president takes to heart.
At a time when there's an educator shortage, at a time when morale is at an all-time low, to see a teacher elevated this way, you know, he's one of us and it means everything.
But in recent years, union members have been drifting away from the Democratic Party. The president of the Minnesota Building Trades Council says Democrats need to work to get them back.
Our membership has changed, right? It used to be we would tell them who we wanted them to vote for and they would vote. Now we have to make the case, right? We can't just take it for granted.
Democratic analyst Abu Amara agrees Democrats cannot take the labor vote for granted.
Unions still do the performance of politics. And what I mean is knocking on doors, making phone calls, dropping off literature. Unions play an important role in the campaign infrastructure.
This really calls into question the character of both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. While we understand that they're on schedule for most of these engagements, it wouldn't hurt to show just a little bit of compassion when possible. And to be honest, guys, this isn't the first vehicular accident that's happened within their campaign.
Savannah Police Corporal David Bates is here at Memorial Health recovering after losing control of his motorcycle and crashing. But this isn't his first wreck on the job.
SPD officials say it happened on 5/16, Wednesday evening around 7.
Bates was on his department-issued motorcycle, attached to the Kamala Harris Tim Walz motorcade, returning to Savannah from Liberty County High School. At some point, and police officials don't say why, Bates lost control of the motorcycle. That single vehicle crash left the corporal with serious injuries. The Secret Service, tasked with protecting the vice president, says the accident didn't affect the motorcade and wishes Bates a speedy recovery. Police Chief Lenny Gunther echoing that statement, saying the department will be with Bates, quote, every step of the way.
And since we talked about their character just a second ago, one person that's really close to Tim Walz is saying that his ideology is flawed, even going so far as to say that he isn't the kind of person who should be making decisions about America's future. Now, this was declared by Tim's older brother, Jeff Walz, who says that he's 100% opposed to all of his brother's ideologies. Now, to make news even worse, again, this is Tim Walz's brother ratting him out. To make matters worse, Jeff is said to be contemplating a public endorsement of former President Donald Trump for his White House run instead of his own brother. How's that for a slap in the face for Tim Walz? In response to someone asking him to get on stage with the former president, the older Walz responded by saying, "I've thought long and hard about doing something like that. I'm torn between that and just keeping my family out of it." Although it does look like their family has been detached from Tim's political ambitions, as Jeff admitted on Facebook that they haven't spoken in 8 years. Wow. Tim Walz, who is running to lead the country, to lead the United States, hasn't even spoken to his own brother in 8 years, much less minimal communication with the press. He added that they weren't informed or even given notice that he was going to be selected as Kamala Harris's running mate. They were also denied security days after the fact. Now, as far as I know, guys, this isn't being covered by mainstream media. I wonder why. But the second a Kennedy goes after RFK Jr., they put it all over the news, which really shows you guys who these people are really working for. They're not working to inform the American people. To be perfectly honest with you guys, I'm not even surprised. I mean, nobody should be surprised by what this young lady said. She just woke up. That's what happened. For the first time after joining the Democratic Party, she's using her own brain and she went from woke to awake. You know what I mean? And honestly, who can blame her when the party she supported her whole life basically ejected the candidate who legitimately got the primary votes, Biden? And then they decided on their own to place Kamala Harris at the top of the Democratic ticket. The same Kamala Harris who's largely responsible for the dire situation in San Francisco right now. Granted, guys, these were high schoolers, but of course they're not kids, so there's no reason to speak to them in such a manner. She also has to realize that Mike Pence and Donald Trump are two completely different individuals. I don't think that she knows what she's asking for with hot mics in a debate. I'm really not sure her own team realizes that the last guy that they put in front of Donald Trump had to quit his political career because he got embarrassed on national television. But mainstream media and her allies are saying that Donald Trump doesn't want any of this smoke.
When I talked to you the night that that Joe Biden decided he was no longer going to seek the nomination, you basically said that Trump is scared of a tough woman. A tough woman scares him. Do you think that's what's going on here?
Oh, I think Trump is really afraid of Kamala Harris, or as I like to think of it, the felon is really afraid of the prosecutor, and for damn good reason. She's smart, she's disciplined, and she's not afraid of a bully. So there it is. Donald Trump is scared, and I got to say, I think his whole team is scared. And that's why they're trying to find ways to muzzle him, to make this debate not happen if possible. Because Kamala Harris, she's going to wipe the floor with Donald Trump.
And yet it's Harris's team that wants to put in changes to what they've already agreed upon. Remember that this was initially set up to be Biden versus Trump. There's no reason to change the rules when you've already gone ahead and changed the nominee. You already have the upper hand since Donald Trump's team has had to adjust to Kamala Harris. And she's been talking all this smack and saying that he's scared to debate her and all that, which means that they were surprised when he agreed to ABC News. Josh Dawsey posted on X regarding this dilemma about the debate. He said that the VP's camp is not accepting the rules from ABC News. Now, again, guys, the same rules that would have been in place if President Joe Biden was still in the race. Now, her account responded to this by saying that Donald Trump's advisors are not allowing him to debate with Kamala Harris if the mics are live. She further states that if his team doesn't have confidence in him, then the American people shouldn't as well. Now, guys, I think it's pretty easy to say that these are just excuses when you remember the fact that Donald Trump's, he's pretty quick on his feet when it comes to arguments.
This is a tough business to run for president.
I know. You're a tough guy, Jeb.
And we need to have a leader that is
real
principled.
tough.
You're never going to be president of the United States by insulting your way to the presidency.
Let's see. I'm at 42 and you're at 3. So
Doesn't matter.
far I'm doing better.
Doesn't matter.
So far I'm doing better. You know, you started off over here, Jeb. You're moving over further and further. Pretty soon you're going to be off the end.
This doesn't do a thing to solve the problem.
One at a time.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
Although Donald Trump, he can go off the handle a little bit with these debates. I'll give her that. And that's what Harris is hoping for. It's also likely that this is why she's pissed at ABC News, because they're not dropping to their knees and giving her everything she wants. Now, some of you guys may already be aware, but her demands to change the rules of the debate, they have already been rejected. Now, this could open up a path where Kamala Harris's team will pretty much just up and say, hey, you know, we're not doing this debate because Donald Trump can't handle a hot mic. Now, I'm fairly certain Donald Trump doesn't care as much about this entire mic issue as much as Kamala Harris does, because they can just do the ABC News debate as they agree on another debate with mics turned on. It's literally just that simple. But not if you're planning to do only one debate. Now, as far as we're being told, Kamala Harris will not agree to any other debate dates other than this one, which now brings me to Don Lemon and how he may actually be working for our best interest after all. Now, guys, I did a previous video where I talked about this kind of interviews that Don Lemon has been doing lately, and surprisingly, he's been showing voters that primarily want Trump back in office. Does this mean that Don Lemon has finally woken up to reality? I'm gonna let y'all decide on that. Just check out the video, click on my channel, hit the videos tab, and check that video out next. Make sure you guys watch that one right after this video. As always, I appreciate you guys for hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.